take me.
Just using the presenters.
You take of yourself is fine.
Oh no, it won't.
No, if you take of yourself.
It won't capture you because you're.
It is.
No. I'm very shy of camera. So I go sit there. Army train, you know where is the out of fire. So this one. You see here, the rifle cannot fire, GPD cannot fire.
Okay, before we begin, can we just check that everyone here has really got the sticker already? If you haven't, please raise up your hands. No, you have your clicker, so you shouldn't raise up your hand.
Okay, one more.
Okay, we'll be needing it for our presentation later, and we have got a number of polls which will need your participation in. Alright, okay, good evening, Prof. Khan, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dixon. I'm from the team of WonderWoman, and with me here today are my teammates. On your left, you see Raymond and Ida, right? And on your right here, you see there's Rainbow and Sandra. Alright, and our topic for this evening is Web 3.0 and the future of university education. Web 3.0 is commonly referred to as the semantic web, and it can be broadly defined as the harnessing of internet content using artificial intelligence to produce research that is faster and more accurate. So our task for this evening is firstly to predict how university education and lifelong learning will be like in the year 2020, and then to decide if there will still be a need for university degrees given that Web 3.0 will enable learning to become 24/7 during then. Alright, so very quickly now, our agenda for this evening is firstly for me to give you an overview of what Web 3.0 is and how it is developing. And then we'll take a look at how the development will have an impact on the landscape of university, which will include specifically looking at that of students as well. And then we'll go on to the second part of our presentation, whereby we'll look at some of the possible effects of Web 3.0 on the university landscape in what our group has called the dualities. And first of which we'll be looking at is the concept of unbundling. Alright, and then next we'll look at the increase in online content. Thirdly, we'll look at the importance of simulative over theoretical learning in 2020. And finally, we'll also be looking at the importance of self-learning over guided learning for the future. Finally, we'll conclude by giving you our team's responses on whether or not university degrees are still needed in the year 2020. Alright, so without further ado, we have a video here to quickly give you an idea of what Web 3.0 is about. Okay.
The internet is very much alive and kicking. The first generation of internet sites primarily gave information. But with the rise of sites like Facebook and Amazon, the web has become increasingly interactive. On this Web 2.0, it's mostly the user who produces the content. Without contributors, there would be no Facebook, and without people who post information on Wikipedia and their clips on YouTube, there would be no interaction on these sites. Meanwhile, most people have become familiar with Web 2.0. Blogging, tagging, social networking, and social bookmarking have paved the way to the next step in the development of the web. The step to the intelligent and omnipresent Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is not totally different from the web we know now. It is in many respects a continuation of existing techniques. Think of the so-called recommender systems that make a personal approach on your website possible. Amazon has cleverly used this system for a long time now by offering their clients products that other people with the same interests bought before them. And on Last.fm, you can listen online to music that caters to your personal wishes. By using smart systems, these sites are in a continuous learning process, and they anticipate what their users like or dislike. Important for sites like Last.fm or Amazon is that a song or a book gets extra information added by the user. No sudden change of the internet, it changes gradually. What does change quickly is the look and feel of the web. Simply speaking, the internet is a web full of appliances that communicate with each other by exchanging information. As more and more everyday appliances are connected to the internet, think of telephones, washing machines and cars, the web is more present, but it will become less and less visible. No big separate computer, but invisibly present in everyday appliances.
Alright, so I hope that through the video you have gained some idea of what Web 3.0 is about, and to give you a quick recap, Web 3.0 is something that is pervasive and it is also highly predictive and anticipatory towards end users' needs, and it is also widely referred to as the semantic web. Alright, and here we see on this diagram is that lies at the heart of a golden triangle is our semantic web. And this golden triangle is coined by a prominent American by the name of Fred Wilson. Fred Wilson is a prominent American venture capitalist as well as a blogger, and he holds substantial investments in a number of Web 2.0 companies. And in this golden triangle that Fred Wilson coined, it consists of three main components: the mobile, the real-time, as well as the social. So basically, when we say that Web 3.0 serves as an enabler of knowledge management, we are saying that it allows us to make comparisons and connections in the real time, and it also allows us to generate conversations while on the go on our mobile devices in the social space. And through the semantic web's ability to filter information for us, it is also helping us to better understand the consequences of the decisions that we make. Okay? Right, and now we'll quickly look at the development of the web on the university landscape. Well, right before the web was first created, we see in the university environment that books serve as the principal medium of knowledge. Okay, and also that universities were largely contained within their local campuses. Okay, and we also see that in the learning environment, it was very much teacher-centric. So the development of Web 3.0 has brought about significant changes to the university landscape, and of this we note that in today there's an increase in online content. It's a lot more ubiquitous, all right, as you can see here. And what we also see in that's brought about by the development of the web is this the development of global campuses for many universities today, and this is particularly pertinent for the world's very best universities because it allows them to tap across the entire world for the best students as well as the best staff, and it also allows them to build a global network of alumni, right? And here we also see that our present university environment allows us to engage in more peer collaboration and evaluation as well, right? And we also know that the learning environment has shifted from that of being teacher-centric to a student-centric environment. Okay. Right, and finally, we also note that one of the major characteristics that universities face today is that they are under increasing pressure by market forces, and this is exemplified by the LET review. What this is about basically is an independent review commissioned by the UK of government in 2004, all right, to look into the optimal skill mix in order to maximize economic growth, productivity and social justice for the people of the United Kingdom in the year 2020. And one of the significant recommendations that came out of this review is that it says that the provision of vocational education must be demand-led. In other words, it is saying that employers should therefore be more directly involved in deciding what the priorities of training should be. Okay, and for the purpose of our presentation and research, we've gone through a number of publications and journals as you can see here. And in particular, there's one that we'd like to highlight, and it is this white paper that is produced in 2008 by the Economist Intelligence Unit. It is entitled The Future of Higher Education, How Technology Will Shape Learning. And in this study, just briefly to give you an overview, it consists of 289 participants, all right, and of which we know that 65% of them come from the education sector, and this will include our teachers as well as our academic staff, and the remaining 35% represent the private sector, well, and these are basically the people from the business. And we also note that most of the participants in the survey were also from the United States. Okay, and next we look at this book. Okay, this book is called A Whole New Mind. It's written by Daniel Pink. Some of you may be familiar with this book. Okay, Daniel Pink was the chief speechwriter for the then Vice President of the United States, Al Gore. All right, and in this book that he wrote, he highlighted 6 aptitudes which our team recommends that should be adapted by universities as the desired learning outcomes of a university education. And you can see here earlier the 6 what those 6 aptitudes are, right? And also one of the goals of university education is also basically to foster lifelong learning. And as was mentioned earlier, under the increasingly globalized environment of today, universities today find it more challenging, all right, to strike the balance between meeting the shorter term needs of producing graduates that are ready for the workforce and those graduates with an attitude towards lifelong learning. Okay, and for our presentation this evening, we will not only attempt to bring you the perspectives of our students and teachers, which, as you can see here, Raymond will play the role of the student. Hello, I'm the student, right? And Rainbow will play the role of the teacher. And Ida will represent the business, and we have Sandra to represent the university manager. All right. And as we speak of lifelong learning, we see that also corporate universities play an important role in this infrastructure. Right. So, and in one of the questions that was highlighted in the 2008 EIU white paper, it asked what's going to be like for higher education over the next 5 years. And here we see that reaffirms our point that universities will frequently partner with corporations and other third parties to create new areas of studies. Okay, and here we see another graph. Okay, this graph is from a 2009 UNESCO report. And in this graph, we see that between the years of 2000 and 2007, there is an increase in the tertiary student enrollment across all regions of the world. And based on this graph, we can safely predict that demand for university education will continue to rise in 2020. All right, and now we look at what some of the general characteristics of students. And Raymond has something to say to us.
Hi, I'm the university student. As you can see, Web 3.0 has really taken over my life, and I think I have internet in my veins. All my devices are talking to each other, and that makes me a highly mobile, highly interconnected person. Well, then I can definitely be instantly gratified from anything from the internet. So right now, in order to get a well-paid job, I think I need to go to school. Well, a university degree perhaps would be the right choice, but that would get me in debt, wouldn't it?
Okay, not so fast. Actually, about the well-paid job. What do we know about the well-paid jobs in 2020? What actually the wage situation is going to be in 2020? Maybe we'll try to help out the guy and try to make some guesses. You have all your clickers, right? And here is the first question which I would like you to predict. So what do you think? In China, the wage growth in 2020 compared to 2010, how
Is it 4.5 times,
Yeah,
3.2 times, or 2.5 times? Just make a guess.
Yeah. And press the number 1, 2, 3.
2 or 3 on your clicker. Okay, we have right now,
Everybody vote.
16 responses, 17,
We need
20,
29 responses.
22 responses, 25,
Or
and
around 30. Yeah. Okay, stop the poll. So you think, a little bit missing. It's going to be more optimistic, 4.5 times higher than it is 2010. So the next question, how is it going to be look like the same question in India? Make your guess.
let's poll. We have 20 polls, yes. 21, 23, 24, 25.
Okay, the correct answer is 2.5, as it is estimated. Not that optimistic that is China, right? Okay, the next thing. Do you think the salary growth will be fast during this decade? actually it's a very important question for us because we are going to be working in this decade. Do you think it's going to be fast? Or
Yep, 10, 11, come, keep the responses coming. 22, 23, 25, yes.
Okay, stop the poll. Actually, we are very optimistic about the growth. It's going to be probably one of the lowest rates of growth. Okay, and do you think most of this growth will happen in Asia, in USA, in Europe, in Africa, in Latin America? Okay, come on, keep polling.
Yeah, 20.
Okay, it is a very difficult question, sure. Okay, so this is how the salary situation, some features of the salary situation in 2020. So let's move on forward.
Right. Hello, it's me again. So right now, let's look at the evolution of trust. If Web 3.0 has taken over in our environment, I would actively participate online to tell my friends, oh, this is good, that is good. But yet, if I am not ranked on it, then people do not know how good is the recommendation. Hence, my digital visibility becomes, okay, I need to be more visible online. And hence, narrator, what do you mean by synthetic and semantic?
Right, so basically when we talk about the synthetic aspect of trust, it merely means that, well, it just goes by the number of reviews and comments that you put up on Facebook, for example, on Google or Amazon, as you saw in the video earlier. But what is also important to this aspect of trust that we see is that is the semantic aspect, meaning the quality of content of comment that you give online. Right, and to give you a more concrete example, we have a video here.
Find me a great Greek restaurant in Palo Alto.
I found 14 Greek restaurants. 5 of them are in Palo Alto. I've sorted them by rating.
Alright, and you can see from this very recent video that is presenting about the Siri app, right? And it utilizes this concept of trust that we are emphasizing today.
Right, so coming back to me, questions that I would pose, like which university should I enroll in? Who should I trust? Are there trust agents on the internet that precedes that genuinity and transparency? And the next more important question, which module do I take under which professor? Can pass or not the course? Everybody in this room have asked that question. Or more importantly, which classmate do I form project teams with? Remember? Well, I hope not the critical inquiry project we don't become friends anymore.
Alright, and we find that the answers to these questions that Raymond are asking, they become even more important going forward in the year 2020 as universities become more commercialized. Alright, and basically what we've just given you is a summary of the Web 2.0 environment and how it has impacted the university as well as the students. Right, okay, and now we come on to the section of our presentation whereby we look at some of the possible effects of Web 3.0 on an evolving university landscape. And for the part of this section, our team has called this the dualities. Alright, and the first step of which that we are looking at is the concept of bundling and unbundling. And in this concept, what we mean by is that flexibility is the imperative, and this flexibility allows us a redesign of the curriculum system to provide a more flexible offering of electives and modules. And it is also a system that allows the interest of students to be cultivated, to build up their empathy. And it is also a system that hones the strengths of the students, and it also allows teachers to further develop the intellectual rigor of their students. Right, and also in the unbundled environment, we've talked before about being specialists and generalists, and over here in the unbundled environment, we note that it is more important to be both a specialist and a generalist, as we have discussed in earlier presentations. that was exemplified in McKinsey's T-shaped consultants, and these are the people who have supplemented a broad generalist approach with an in-depth industry or functional specialty. And then again, we also see Nonaka saying the same thing through this concept of redundancy, whereby overlapping knowledge is required in order for knowledge to be created. Okay?
So it's back to me again. Well, I think I can coin the phrase, I want to study when I want to study, what I want to study. So there you can see if there's the flexibility, I can actually choose very flexible coursework. It's like a buffet of courses that I can choose online if everything becomes unbundled. There you can see even from the popularity ranking, I can choose the most popular course of what I can grow myself as an individual. From the semantic web, you can see the first time I took the test, it is all lower than the second time the green bar chart that I've taken the test. Because the semantic web has told me, focus on my weak areas. So the quality of my education has greatly increased because not only I know what my strengths are, I also know where my weaknesses are. So it is like a term, rip, mix, and burn.
Alright, okay, and now we've also come to this part whereby Prof. Khan, he published a paper in 2007 that was entitled The University as an Institution of Learning. And in this survey, he questioned 50 graduates, and of which he asked them to rank the most important goal of a university education. And here we see from the chart that for a good majority of the participants, they expressed that the ability to be able to develop their inner potential was the most important outcome of a university education. Okay, and Rinko has something to say to us now.
Yeah, as a teacher, I have some good news to tell you that in the future, our education will tend to be more unbundling. That means the education system will be more likely student-centric. For example, we will offer you the personalized examinations. The purpose of the examination is not to judge your knowledge degree, but to help you to find out your weakness. For example, for the entrance examination, you will find out your weakness in some part of your knowledge, and then you can decide which module you will take. And then we'll offer you the final examination to check if you have overcome those weaknesses. To that extent, learning has become more target-based. And furthermore, because of the Web 3.0, there will be a rise in the collaboration between the private sector and the universities. So we'd like to focus much more on the practical skills that make the learning much more target-based. And with the help of the technology, in the future, the education and learning will focus much more on the genuine thoughtfulness on part of the student. For this part, we have an example from the Stanford University. In Stanford University, they have a program that they make use of some technology tools to make partnerships with some other universities. And because of this partnership, students from Stanford University can keep their credits even when they transfer to a totally different program in totally different universities.
Alright, so now coming back to the same survey that was conducted in 2007 by Prof. Chen. The second part, he asked his participants, if you are the minister in charge of higher education and you have the ability to change one thing in universities in Singapore, what would it be? Alright, and here we see the top 5 responses from our participants, and of which our university managers and teacher would like to take note of it for later on.
Okay, you have seen the previous presenter talking about the changing of lifestyles in the students, and the meaning of learning has changed over time. So, the post-industry economy requires students not only strong in the domain knowledge, but also very good in handling a real-life situation with a proper soft skill. So we are going to offer more specialized degrees. In the paper issued by EIU have asked a few questions, and one of which is that the technology, which part of the technology will have impact on the course offered by the university, but which part will be the most visible to the industry. You can see that interdisciplinary major will be offered very much within 5 years. It's going to be nearly 80% within another 5 years. There's another portion of the respondents highly mentioned that there will be more specialized programs and certification offered in the universities, and students will be more likely to specialize those specific degrees.
Yeah, okay. I'm actually glad to hear that we are understanding the trend with university managers quite commonly, because these specialized degrees and interdisciplinary degrees, what do they mean to me as a representative of business? Actually, it means to me customized training of my workforce. I can tweak my courses in terms of presence of my employees, in terms of what is the mixture of the subjects I want to train. For example, previously you might rarely meet some degree called food and beverage masters. But now it is actually in the list of, I think, Singapore Polytechnic or something. So it is customized training, and actually why do I need this customized training? Probably it will affect the salary, so which also will be customized, because why do I need pay the same salary to guys who are very specific in different areas and their level is different? So this bundling and unbundling gives me possibility to customize training, customize salary, and balance the work and study load of my employment force. But this is actually only one aspect. But before we get to the second aspect, which is actually more important, let's try to get one more poll, because we still are not very clear what is world like in 2020. For example, the most obvious guess. Try to guess how many we are there in world.
Yes, get your responses coming. We have 13 responses right now. 15,
yeah, we need around
18, 20, yes, 24, 27.
Okay, so right you are. 7.5 billion is the expectation. And of this 7.5 billion, how many people do you think will be the users of the famous Web 3.0 Dixon? Explain what is that.
24.
Okay.
24. Yeah.
Waiting.
And the answer is 2.0 billion.
2 billion are going to be the users of Web 3.0. And the world economy is going to be bigger. Well, we expect that everything will not collapse and will still keep growing. So, what do you think? How much bigger it will be? 20%, 40%, 60%?
Right, we have now 25 responses. Yeah, keep your responses coming.
Okay, stop the poll. Okay, you are pessimistic, right? Actually, the survey says that it is going to be around 60% bigger than it is now. And what do you think? How fast is going to be the growth? The average growth per year? What's going to?
We have 15 responses right now. Yes, keep it coming.
Okay. Did we get something around 30? Okay, so stop the poll. Well, the correct answer is 3.5, the average. Okay? So, together with the wages situation, which we studied a little bit earlier, and this situation, this gives you the idea of the environment. The world is actually very crowded, and there is also some, but still, the balance between manufacturing and service is still in the favor of US and Europe. Asia is still mostly into manufacturing, and all the salary growth, which was represented, is still just a percentage of actual salaries in the US and Europe. So it is not a world of abundance, it is a world of crowded places. And for me, as a businessman, I keep in mind this scheme. Actually, Peter Drucker started this distinction between non-knowledge worker and knowledge worker. this decade 2010 and 2020, is the age of further distinction between knowledge workers themselves. So there's going to be a replicable knowledge worker and the unreplicable guy, the talent. Actually, Raymond is trying to convince me that he is this guy. You know why? Because he is going to suffer less from this lower salary growth of this overcrowded workforce market and so on, because he is unreplicable. But how do I, and unreplicableness is actually connected with these 6 competences or 6 sets of mind. So how do I know this? How do I read it from Raymond? Actually, I'm trying to tweak my HR management system more to competence-based evaluation, competence-based hiring, competence-based anything. So, and it means that I try to, on the first stage, I just try to see the skills, the job attitude, and the knowledge. But the important thing for me is to observe the behavior before I can make any prediction about the Raymond's job performance. So my question is to university managers and to teachers and to Raymond himself, how do I get more into educational process? How do I make, how do I get the idea about his real ability? So I feel that this guy's gonna, together with Web 3.0 technology, are gonna provide me some visibility screen, some enhancer to see the Raymond performance more. So how do you do that? Please explain.
Right, so with the courses, you can see that more things are actually going online. So what does online mean? Online means 24/7. With more content going online, you can see that the information, it can be updated real life. So there can be a richer sources of information and learning. And that we can actually see more non-residential program happening. That means I need not travel to the country anymore. I save on travel, I save on accommodation. Sometimes it may be even cultural incompatibility. So with an online environment, it facilitates a global collaborative learning. For instance, in Stanford University, they offered an online course that attracted 58,000 students worldwide. And they used the Google Moderator and Amazon Cloud for grading. A second example would be from NYU, that it was shown that in the law school, the hybrid program of both online plus offline outperform exclusive environment for those that's exclusively online or exclusively offline.
Again, for the teacher's part, thanks for the development of the technology, our future education will focus much more on the online resources. For example, the technology as an enabler will bring us more collaboration with the other universities. Here's an example, Sakai. Sakai is an educational software platform where teachers can, from different universities with different study fields, can exchange information and share knowledge. And this kind of tool, or with the help of Web 3.0, we can both save our time in mentoring and do much more on research. For example, we don't have to be physically present in the classroom. All we have to do is to answer questions and lead students to solve problems online. And we can do much more on the research. And just because of the collaboration with other universities, our research could be easier than ever before. And to this extent, my role has changed. From the instructor to the mentor, that means I don't have to tell you, hey, this is very important. Memorize it, because I will put it in the final exam paper. I don't have to do that, right? All I have to do is to find a way to help you get your own method to solve the specific problem. And here is my question. How do you expect the Web 2.0 tools to change teaching in the next 5 years? According to the survey, we get the data like this. Most of the students predict that in the future, professors will teach in more than one medium, and students will be expected to collaborate online to complete group projects. I think this is very useful for the part-timers, right? And the third one is textbooks and printed materials will be largely replaced by online materials, just to go green. And this is a question, the extension of the first question. Which communication technologies do you think will most improve academics on campus over the next 5 years? And here's the result. Most of the students think that online collaboration tools will play a very important role in the next 5 years teaching. And software like to support the dynamic, individually paced learning. Pay attention here. What does it mean, the dynamic, individually paced learning? That means as a student, you can choose your learning time, your modules yourself. You don't have to follow the structured curriculum and the fixed hours. Okay, then, how about our university manager? What do you think about that question?
Okay. We have noticed that the world population is increasing, which means to universities, the students are increasing. The landscape of learning has been modified. So a lot of people are coming back to school, coming back to school for more knowledge. So we have to meet these increasing demands. According to the paper issued by UNESCO in 2010, predict